everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Yhinka. So in today's class we're going to be making this beautiful and gorgeous dress. Is a mini dress and I love every detail about this dress. For this style we are going to be using this Ankara is 5 yards, so but I don't know if I'm going to be finishing that until I'm done. If I finish I will let you know. If it remains I will let you know also. So the Ankara is 5 yards like I said, and then I'm going to be using this beautiful lace to mix the Ankara fabric. This I'm going to be using 1 yard. Then you need your mashing thread, you need your zipper, and also you'll be needing lining. You'll be needing your lining, and also you need it interfacing, and also you'll be needing wadding to pad the bust area. All right, so let's get started. If you're new to this channel, you're welcome, and to my old subscriber, you are welcome back. I see all your comments on my posts and I truly appreciate it. Please always leave comment for me because it helps the channel to grow. And recently we just clicked 50,000 subscribers. 50,000 subscribers, that's a lot, that's huge. I'm so happy, I'm so excited. Thank you everybody. Come on, give me a hug. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate the love, the support. Please always ensure to leave comment for me in the comment section. If you have question, even if you don't have any question, just leave comment for me in the comment section. It really helps the channel to grow. And please don't forget to always hit the like button because it's a lot. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate the love, the support, you know. So let's jump right into the tutorial. So I'll be drafting the front part of the upper bodice first. So my fabric is folded into two, so I'm going to be drafting this on the lining first. Then after that I'm going to be using this to cut out the main fabric. So I'm going to roll my guideline first, and I'm going to be drafting a princess dart bustier. Then after that you're going to measure all your vertical measurements. So I'll measure, starting from the guideline, I'll measure down my armhole length, my nipple points, my under bust, my waist length, and 1/2 inch seam allowance. Then I'm going to extend all the line. So this is my guideline, which is going to serve as the shoulder. This is my armhole length, which is going to be my chest line. This is my nipple point line, my under bust line, my waist length, and also my 1/2 inch seam allowance. All right, so the next thing now, I'm going to input my shoulder measurement divided by 2 on this guideline. So my shoulder is 16 divided by 2, that will be 8 inches. I'll measure 8 inches like this, and I'm going to roll it straight down to the chest line. Starting from the folded edge here, I'm going to measure 3 inches inward this way. Then I'll come to the tip of the shoulder here. I'll measure 1 inch downward so that I can slant the shoulder. Then I'll connect these 2 points together. Then after that I'll add my 1/2 inch seam allowance to this line. All right, so the next thing we need to do now is to input our dart. So I'll come to this point, starting from this 1 inch below the shoulder line. I'm going to measure to the chest line, and I'm going to locate the mid point. So you locate the mid armhole this way. Then at this midpoint you come in by 1/2 inch. You connect it back to the shoulder tip like this. Come to your nipple point line. This is my nipple point line. So I'll input my nipple to nipple distance divided by 2 plus 1/2 inch seam allowance. My nipple to nipple distance is 8 inches divided by 2, that's going to be 4. Then plus 1/2 inch, that's going to be 4.5. So I'll mark it this way. Then I'll roll it straight down to the waistline and then connect it to the mid armhole. So you come to the waistline. At this side of the line you take 1/2 inch dart, and then at this other side I'm going to take 2 inches dart. So at this side of the line you take 1/2 inch dart, 1/2 inch this way. You roll it straight to the under bust, then you connect it to the nipple point. Then you connect it to the nipple point this way. Hope it's clear. Then at this other side, you take 2 inches dart. You roll it straight to the under bust. Then you use the curved part of your ruler to connect it to the nipple point. Use the curved part of the ruler to connect it to the nipple point. This way. Can you see? So the next thing now is to come to the mid armhole. You measure 2 inches downward. Then you note the point. 2 inches. Then from the nipple point, you connect it to these 2 inches below the mid armhole. You also use the curved part of the ruler, this inner part. You use it. Then you're going to be extending this line by 2 inches. This is your dart leg, just extend it by 2 inches. Can you see? Then after that, you finish your armhole like this. So the next thing now is to input our measurements, and then you're going to replace your dart and add your seam allowance. So on the chest line, I'm going to input my bust circumference measurement divided by 4. My bust circumference is 40 divided by 4, that will be 10. Then I'll replace the dart that I have here. Here I have 1/2 inch, so I'll put it back. Then my seam allowance. Then I'll come to the waistline. I will input my waist circumference measurement divided by 4. My waist circumference is 32 divided by 4. That will be 8 inches. So I'll measure 8 inches. Then I'll replace my dart. Here I have 2.5 for the dart. So I'll replace it. Then I'll add my seam allowance. Then I'll connect it together this way. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to do now is to slant this side seam. So just go up by 1 inch and then you slant it back to the dart leg. This go up by 1 inch and slant it to your dart leg. Input your neckline. It's having a bishop collar with front opening, so I'm going to be using 3.5 for my neck depth, and then I will use 3.5 for the neck width. Then I'll connect the points together. Next thing now is to bring out our yoke. The front is having a yoke. You come to your under bust. This is my under bust here. I'll measure 1/4 inch or a little lesser than 1/4 inch, because you don't want the yoke to be too big. Just make a little mark here this way. And you come to your chest line. This is my chest line here. You go up by 1.5 inch. Then at that point you go in. So at that 1.5 above the chest line, go in by 1 inch. You connect it to this point this way, because you don't want the yoke to be too wide. Like this. Then with a gradual curve, you get your sweetheart shape this way. So can you see? So this whole part here is going to serve as your yoke. So place your fabric into 2 folds and place the lining on top of it, and use it to cut out the main fabric. And when you're done, you're going to be replacing the yoke with your lace fabric. All right, but before then, we need to slit the center front so that it can be easy for us to sew this yoke back. All right, so just slit the center front the way I'm showing you here.
All right, this will make it easy for us to sew in the yoke later on. I'm going to be showing you how to do that, so make sure you watch till the end. All right, then the next thing you're going to do is also for you to notch your underbust, so that when you are padding, you will know where your wadding is going to stop. So you notch the underbust on both the panels. So place your lace fabric on fold. Then after that, you're going to be placing the yoke on top of it this way. Ensure the center front aligned properly. Ensure you align the center front properly. Then after that, you're going to be adding seam allowance of ½ inch to the inner part of the yoke, ½ inch. All right. Then after that, you're going to be cutting it out. The only place you're putting your seam allowance is just the inner part of the yoke. All right, and it's just ½ inch seam allowance.
So you can see the neckline remained the same, the shoulder remained the same, the armhole part remained the same. The only place I added seam allowance is only at the inner part of the yoke. Can you see? I added ½ inch seam allowance to the inner part of the yoke.
Then I cut out wadding to pad the bust area. Then I also fuse the fabric with my interfacing. As you can see, I'm using a very soft stay here. And here is the lining. I will be drafting the back bodice now.
Put my fabric into two, then I'll roll my guideline. Then I'm going to measure my zip allowance. I'm going to be using 1.5 for my zip allowance. So starting from the guideline, I'm going to measure down my armhole length and then my waist length minus 1 inch. You know, I already slant the front side seam by 1, so you are going to be reducing your back by 1. So from the guideline, you measure down your armhole, then you measure down your waist length minus 1 inch. My waist length is 17 minus 1 inch, that will be 16. Then with ½ inch seam allowance, then I will extend the lines. So I'm using 1.5 for my zip allowance, so I'll roll my zip allowance. And to prevent bulging at the back of our dress, you're going to go in by ½ inch on the waistline, and then you're going to slant it back by ½ inch. Then from this line again, go in by ½ inch and blend it to this line. The next thing now is to input our measurements. Starting from this line, you measure your shoulder divided by 2. My shoulder is 16 divided by 2, that will be 8 inches. I'll measure 8 inches. I'll roll it straight down to the chest line. Then I'll come back to this line. I'll go in by 3 inches. Then I'll drop the shoulder here by 1. Measure 1 inch below the shoulder. And then connect the points together. Then you add your ½ inch seam allowance to that line. Then you come to the chest line, you input your bust circumference measurement divided by 4. My bust is 40 divided by 4, that would be 10 inches. So starting from this line, you measure the 10 inches. Starting from this line here, measure the 10 inches with your seam allowance. Then you come to the waistline, you input your waist circumference measurement divided by 4. Starting from this line, you measured my waist is 32 divided by 4, that will be 8 inches. I'll measure 8 inches. Then I'll be inputting that to the back. So I'm going to be using 1 inch for my dart, so I'll put 1 inch. Then my seam allowance. Then I'll connect the points together. Then I'll finish the armhole with my armhole cuff. Can you see? So the next thing now is to input the neck circumference. So starting from this line, you measure 3.5 for the neck. Remember, we use 3.5. We use 3.5 in front, so measure the 3.5. Then the back neck depth is going to be 1 inch. Then you connect it together. So the back is ready.
Place your main fabric unfold like this, then you place the lining on top of it, and then you're going to cut it out. You notch your zip allowance, and also you're going to be notching your dart position. The sleeve is just a pencil sleeve, so place your fabric into 4 folds. Then after that, you measure down your cap height and the length of your sleeve. Then on your cap height line, you input your armhole length with your seam allowance. Then you get your cap height curve this way. Then at the M line, you're going to input your round sleeve measurements divided by 2 plus your seam allowance, and then you're going to connect these points together this way.
So this is the 2 center panel, one side panel, and this is the other one. What you do first is to join these 2 center panels together. So match them together, right side to right side, and then you are going to close with 1/4 inch at the center, starting from the underbust to the waistline. Just starting from your underbust here, you join it all the way to the waistline. If you remember, we notch our underbust. This is the notching for the underbust, so just trace it to the center front this way, and then you're going to join with 1/4 inch all the way down to the waistline. So I've joined the center front. So if you open it, you can see this is what you have. So the next thing now is to join the side panels. Join the side panels to it. So you're going to be joining the side panel. So match them together, right side to right side, and then you're going to join with 1/4 inch. Don't forget, when we were measuring our nipple to nipple distance, we added just 1/2 inch for that. So we already use 1/4 here at the center from, meaning you are left with 1/4 inch to join this side panels together. So use your 1/4 inch and join the side panels together. Can you see? So the next thing now is for you to notch. So this is it. You keep this aside and you repeat the same thing on the lining, but then you are not going to be joining the center of the lining. You're not going to join the center panel of the lining. So this is the 2 center panel of the lining. You're not going to be joining here. Don't join this place, but you join the side. So just take 1 center panel and join with 1 side panel, right side to right side. Then another center panel, you join together with the side panel, right side to right side. So I'm done joining them together. So what I'll do next is to take to the ironing table, and I'm going to iron and press my seam open. I'll do the same thing on the main fabric. This is the main fabric, and then this is the lining. This is the second side of the lining. Can you see? So keep the lining aside first. You're going to be attaching the yoke to the main fabric. So match the yoke right side to right side with the main fabric. You start joining from the armhole area. So match it together, right side to right side. In case if after joining these panels together, this place is not even, just blend it. This lining, this main fabric is perfect, but it's not that perfect on the main lining. So let me show you. So if after joining this panel to this panel and it's remaining something like this, so you just trim it off. Can you see? Just trim it off. That's all. It's as simple as that, all right? But on my main fabric, it balanced very well. So what you need to do next now is to attach this yoke to the main fabric. So you start joining from the armhole area. You join with 1/4 inch seam allowance. 1/4 inch seam allowance. You're going to join with 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you can see my seam allowance for joining this center front here. So open your seam allowance wide the way I'm doing here. Can you see? Open your seam allowance like this. Then you continue stitching this net right on top of it. Can you see? This is our under bust line. So you sew past it till wherever the net stops. You'll be stitching it to your seam allowance, just one side of the seam allowance. Can you see? Like this. Then you back stitch. So you're done with one side. Then you do the second side. So this time around you start from here. You can see where we stop here. So start your joining from here. Turn it this way, upside down. Can you see? Can you see one side of the seam allowance for the center joining of the Ankara, and then the lace is right on top of it. Then you stitch with 1/4 inch again all the way back to the armhole area. Don't stretch your fabric, don't pull it, just sew gradually. Don't pull, just stitch gradually till you get back to your armhole with 1/4 inch. If you do it very well, everything will mash up equal. Can you see? And that's it. We are done attaching the yoke. So if you open it, this is what you have. Can you see? Can you see? So the next thing now is to turn it with the lining. All right, so this is our lining. Can you see? You match one side of corresponding lining to it. I shade the position of the camera so that we can see what I'm doing close to the machine. Can you see? This is how it is. I don't know if you can see it. All right, so this is it after joining. This is how it's looking from the wrong side. This is it. So the next thing now is to turn it with our lining. So you take the corresponding side of the lining. So this lining belongs to this side. And this belongs to this other side. After identify which side belongs to which side, keep one aside and work on the first one. So mash it together this way. Can you see? You just follow your seam allowance, starting from the waistline. Follow your seam allowance and join them together all the way to your armhole. Once. And you also sew the side seam. You sew the side seam with 1/2 inch. So one side is done and ready. You can see this other side, this side is ready. You can see how neat it is. So you also do the second side. Starting from the waistline, match the lining to your seam allowance here. Place them together and then you stitch till you get back to your armhole. The front is ready. So you take to your ironing table, you iron nicely. This is it from the wrong side. Can you see? This is it from the wrong side. Can you see it? I'll keep the front aside and I'll work on the back. So this is one side of the back and this is the second side. You sew in your darts and you repeat the same thing on the lining. Going to be having collar, so you're not going to be turning the neckline. So match right side of the lining to the right side of the main fabric. Place them on top of each other like this, right side to right side. You close the zip allowance part and also the side seam. with 1/2 inch allowance. When you're done with this one, you repeat the same thing to the second side. Next now is to attach front and back together. So this is the right side of the front. So place the back right side to right side. This is the right side of the front, and this is also the right side of the back. Place corresponding side together, right side to right side. Then match them together at this shoulder area like this. Then flip your lining upward this way, match them together properly like this. Then you wrap your lining round it like this and join the shoulder together with 1/2 inch seam allowance. You're going to be joining the shoulder with 1/2 inch seam allowance. So the front shoulder is in between the back lining and the back fabric. Done joining the shoulders together, the next thing now is to attach our sleeve to the armhole. Match the right side of the sleeve to the armhole. You start by matching the notching together here, and then you sew to the left and you sew to the right. So I'm done attaching the sleeve. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to close the side of my dress. Just cross check your measurements. This is my zip allowance here. If you remember, we notch our zip allowance, so you can just roll it and highlight it. So starting from your zip allowance here, on the chest line, you confirm your measurements. You measure your bust circumference measurement divided by 4 minus 1/2 inch. That's what you're going to put on your chest line. Then you come to the waistline, you put your waist circumference measurement divided by 4. Then you do the same thing to the other side. Your bust circumference measurement on the chest line divided by 4 minus 1/2 inch. You start from your zip allowance. You do the same thing on the waist circumference divided by 4. You will not minus from your waist circumference, please. You close the side. Then after that, we're going to be cutting out the collar. So I'm done closing the side. So the next thing now is to cut out the collar. Short round the neckline. You start from one zip allowance to the other zip allowance. So just open your fabric. So you measure the neckline starting from one zipper side at the back to the second zipper side at the back. So whatever you get, that's what you're going to be using to cut out the collar. Altogether here I have 23.5. The front is having slits. If you see, the center of the collar is having slits, meaning you're going to be turning the center also. So I'm going to be adding 1 inch to that 23.5. It's going to be 24.5. So I'm going to divide that 24.5 by 4 so that I can get the radius to cut out the collar. You know the way I cut my collar? I cut my collar like a fillet. So you're going to see it. If you are new to the channel, you're going to see it. So first you fold your fabric into 2, then after that you fold it downward into 4. So you place your fabric into 4 folds. So you divide when we measure around the neckline, we got 23.5. Then I added 1 inch to it because the center of the collar is going to be open, like you're going to be turning it. So if you add 1 inch to 23.5, you get 24.5. So 24.5 divided by 4. If you divide it 24.5 by 4, that's going to give you 6.1 something. So I'm going to rotate 6.1 on my fabric. So starting from here, you rotate 6.1 all around. 6.1, 6.1. Then you connect the points together. Like this. Then after that, you're going to measure the length that you want for your collar. So together with allowance and everything, I would love to have 2 2¼ for my collar. So I'll measure 2 1/4 downward, starting from this line. Measure 2 1/4 downward, 2 1/4, all around like that. 2 1/4, 2 1/4. Then you connect the points together also. Out. So you're going to be slitting one side open. So you slit one side open like this. Then this other side, you're going to be creating like a kind of curve shape here. So this is it. Can you see the way it is? So at this upper part, just do like a slight curve here, because that's how it is from the style. It's not just straight. So at the corner, just go in like 1/4 inch and then create a curve this way. You can see, just create a slight curve around this part. Can you see? Then you trim it off. All right, so if you open it now, you will have 4 pieces. It's going to be 4 pieces. All right, so you take 2 pieces now. You're going to gum your lace on top of it. That's going to be the right side. And these 2 other ones are going to serve as your lining. You're going to be gumming your lace on top of it. So just use your hemming gum to do that. In case you don't know hemming gum, this is hemming gum. What you do next is to place one lining on top of it. So do the same thing to the second side. So you take to the sewing machine, starting from here, you sew with 1/4 inch all around and back to the other side. Do the same thing here. So I'm done stitching it together. So you notch it round and turn it to the good side. So what you need to do next now is to attach to the neckline, and this is the front part. So fold it into 2 so that you can locate the center front. You locate the center front. Once you locate the next center front, you can use your chalk to make a mark on it. So this is my center front, so I'll open it. This is the center front. So I'll place the collar on top of it, right side to right side. You know we already curved the front part. So place it starting from the center front, and then you sew it all the way to the zip allowance on one side, and then you do the same thing to the second side. You sew to the, then you do the same thing to the other side. So I'm done stitching the collar to the neckline. So what I'll do next is for me to weave it, you can either weave it like this or you pipe it with bias. I'm going to be piping it with bias so that we can also learn how to do this. So I'm done stitching the collar to the neckline. As you can see, this is how it's looking. So the next thing now, I will use bias to knitting this side. I will use bias to do this side to make it neat instead of weaving it. Now in the previous tutorial I've been weaving, but you can also use bias. So this is the collar. The collar is on top. So place your bias on top of the collar this way. This is the collar that is up on the wrong side of the dress. This is the wrong side of the dress. This is the wrong side of the dress. So place your bias on top of the collar. Then you are going to stitch the bias all around the collar till starting from one zip allowance side to the other zip allowance side. Then when you are done, you are going to be flipping the bias downward, and then you are going to be top stitching the bias on the neckline. So you place your bias on top of your collar. You can see my collar here this is the wrong side of the dress. So place the bias on top of the collar. Can you see? This is the collar. Place the bias on top of it this way, and then you are going to stitch the bias all around the neckline. Then when you are done, flip the bias downward and top stitch. So flip the bias downward and then you top stitch. So this is it. We have nicely finished our neckline. It is so nice and beautiful. Then from the wrong side, this is how it's looking. Can you see? From the wrong side, we have nicely finished the neckline with our bias. This tutorial is going to be divided into 2 parts, so make sure you watch the 2 of them. In the second tutorial, we're going to be illustrating the lower part, so please kindly watch this video till the end. It is very important. Don't miss any part of this tutorial. That's the end of our tutorial for today. If you have not subscribed to this channel yet, please kindly subscribe, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.